Welcome back, everybody. We've got amazing filmmakers chatting with us throughout the entire festival. And by the time this goes up, the Wildcat probably already screened. But we still want to talk about it because I have Brenda here with me. And Brenda is the producer and, quite frankly, the best actor in the entire show of Wildcat. Let's talk about what Wildcat is. What is a synopsis, essentially, of Wildcat?
Okay. Well, a wildcatter is the person that finds the spot to drill for oil. That's a wildcatter. But it's kind of a double entendre for our film because it is about, I play the female lead. There's also a male lead, and he is the wildcatter. He has found the spot to drill, and he has a driller who has gone missing. The driller happens to be my husband. I think that he's done something with my husband. So there's all this tension in the film. And so the kind of double entendre with Wildcat is he is an actual wildcatter, but also my character, the claws kind of come out.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Film, yeah.
Now, being a producer as well as an actor in a project, you have to have right brain, left brain sort of action happen.
Yeah.
Let's go into the
organization, which I'm not great at most of the time.
Well, obviously you did well enough to make a pretty dang good film. So let's talk about how a film like this comes together then, at least from a producer's standpoint. What was the antithesis? How did that come?
Well, okay. So I'm going to go way back to almost 20 years ago. My friend Laurie Powers Going, who is the director on the film and also wrote it, she and I met in LA. We were in a theater company. And, at the time, it wasn't the greatest theater company. And at the time, I kind of thought meeting her was the silver lining of being in that. But it ended up being the point of it. Because this is a relationship that's gone on for over, almost 20 years now. But we both kind of went our separate ways. I ended up in Utah. She ended up in Texas. And then probably a year or two before the pandemic, we kind of reconnected on social media and said, hey, I always thought you were awesome. Let's do something together. We made a short film during the pandemic that was shot under COVID rules. So she sent me from Texas. She's in Texas. I'm in Utah. She sent me all the storyboards, and I shot everything with my phone. And my husband played my husband. And, so he's actually a decent actor. So that's kind of how we reconnected. And then we started talking about doing another film, and we both just landed randomly on horror Western. And I won't say random because we both genuinely wanted to make a horror Western. And so it was just kind of from that point on, it was just, let's do this. And the way it kind of came together is, so Laurie and her husband, Jamie, both have extensive backgrounds in special effects. Mm-hmm. So they knew we could make a horror, we could do special effects in it that were going to be pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And we knew they have property in Texas, Laurie does. So we knew we wanted to shoot on her property. And we knew we didn't have a building to shoot at. It was kind of just out on the plains there in Texas. And so we came up with this concept together about a woman who's out in the middle of nowhere for some reason. And we had to build the story around that. And then her husband, Jamie, who ended up being our DP and did an amazing job. We were nominated for 3 cinematography awards in 3 different festivals, and we won 2 of those. So he did an amazing job.
Really did.
Yeah, but I'm going off on tangents here. I'm trying to keep on the point here. But yeah, so we ended up shooting in Texas, and the story that we came up with, the other thing, Jamie, I guess he always wanted to blow up an oil derrick. And
I think everybody always wanted to blow up an oil derrick.
CGI, not actually.
I really want to blow one up, but safely, under the supervision of a special effects expert.
Yeah, exactly.
Please don't sue me.
Yes. So, but yeah, so that's something he's always wanted to do with special effects. And I think because they both worked in Los Angeles for a long time on other people's projects, this was an opportunity for them to work on something and do the special effects they've always wanted to do. So we had to work in an oil derrick blowing up at some point. So the oil derrick is, when you watch the movie, it's there. You see it operating. None of that was there when we shot it. It's all done in post. It's all special effects. And I talked to Lori this morning on my way here, and I asked her, how much money do you think we would have spent if we hired somebody to do those special effects? And she said we would have spent between $60,000 and $100,000. So we made this film on a budget of $5,000, and then some of our own money on top of that. And then we got $60,000 to $100,000 worth of special effects just because those two did it all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we also, during the shoot, there's a campfire, and because we're in Texas and it's dry and we didn't want to start an actual fire, we had the flickering lights.
Mm-hmm.
So we just shot with these lights that flicker so that the light would bounce off my face when I'm sitting around the campfire.
Right.
But then in post, Lori added the fire to it. So when you watch it, there's a campfire, and I forget that it wasn't there. When I watch it, I go, did we put that fire out? And I'm like, I don't know.
It being a lot cooler that evening.
Yeah, it wasn't, that fire wasn't there. But yeah, there were just so many magical things that happened too. So my husband, Eric Petrus, who, you may not think that's name dropping, but if you're in the basin, Petrus is a name, the Utah basin out here. But yeah, he did the sound recording on it, and it was the first time he had ever done that. But he's also a musician, and he's dealt with a lot of sound stuff around music. So, he wasn't a complete novice at it, but he did the sound recording, just had to watch for us to not, kind of pop any sounds or top out. But he came along, we roped him into that. He did an amazing job. I also did special effects makeup for the film. And so there's some pretty gnarly makeup that I was really proud of. And then, just being on set and wrangling everybody. Laurie reminded me this morning that when we went out to set one day, we were about to shoot the film, and I came out of the house with a roll of toilet paper. And so we had a house on the property where we were keeping everyone together and where we slept during the shoot. But I came out of the house with a roll of toilet paper, and she said, "Why are you holding that?" And I said, "I don't know. I think I meant to bring something else, but I picked up this roll of toilet paper instead." And then we get to the set, and our lead actor, Adam, calls my phone and is like, "Did you guys already leave?" And I said, "That's what I meant to grab. The other actor, not the toilet paper." So I don't know. I don't know how I got Adam confused with the roll of toilet paper, but the whole shoot, we were just all wearing so many hats, we were producing and doing the makeup and doing the shooting. Yeah, I'm rambling, but yeah, it was an amazing experience.
I love that. As you and your friends spearheaded this idea.
Yeah.
And you pulled the resources that you guys had, the property, the skill set, the talent.
Yeah.
And you said, we got a dream. We're just going to follow it, and we're going to do it together with people we like.
Yeah. And I was thinking about it too on the drive over here today. I was thinking about how there was not a single ego involved in this whole process.
Wait a minute. That's not possible. You can't make a movie without at least one diva.
We were just all so focused on making something that we all were invested in. And we definitely had some tough nights. There was a lot of rain. We thought that our location was going to be washed out when we got there. We didn't know if we'd be able to get to it because there was a dirt road that we had to drive. There's also on their property, they have a farmer that has his cows on that property. So there were cows and dirt roads and rain and flooding to contend with. And actually, right before we went out to the location, it's about 2 hours from Austin. So I flew into Austin and then drove out there with Lori. And then my husband and her husband came later. But we went out there to set things up. Also, right before we left, she takes care of her mother. Her mother got COVID and was hospitalized right before we went out to the set. And so her brother had to fly in to take care of her mother. And, nothing happens in a vacuum. You think you're going to make this film and you're as prepared as you can be. And then last minute, all these things happen. And everything that you think was going to go wrong is fine. But then all these other things go wrong.
Right.
We had to move one of our shooting dates because of rain. Luckily, all the actors that we hired were able to come to the other, change their dates for shooting. Laurie and I also did all the casting. So we did all of that through Zoom. Like just had people send in auditions and then had them read with me.
I prefer Zoom for my casting still.
Yeah. Yeah.
I even post pandemic, I would prefer Zoom auditions, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an amazing process. And then also just as an actor being on that side of it, the casting side, as opposed to the auditioning side, and seeing, actually initially, the actor that we ended up casting, Adam Kitchen, he's an incredible actor, and it's amazing that we got an actor of his caliber on our budget. So we're eternally grateful to him for that. But he, I initially saw his role as being much older, and but then when it comes down to the energy that an actor brings to it, he just brought the energy that we wanted. And so I think that's part of the process of especially making an independent film too on a budget, is having a vision and then being able to adjust that vision according to what resources you have and what you're presented with as far as talent. And
yeah. And you made it happen.
Yeah.
And now you're here at the Utah International Film Festival.
Yes.
It's going to be seen in front of a live audience. How are you feeling?
I'm so excited. Well, so I think I have 10 people coming tonight. And
so cool.
Yeah. And also it's playing tonight, 9 p.m. on a weekday.
Yeah.
And, people have jobs, people have kids. Yeah. It's hard to get people out for a late night showing. It's in the 2-hour block, so they're not going to get out of here till 11. A lot of people have to drive back to Salt Lake. So I'm just very, very grateful for the support, and people are excited to see it. Luckily I have friends who are into horror movies, because I know the whole block is horror movies. So yeah, I'm just really excited. I'm really excited to be here for it.
When you are showing films like this, and you take them to a film festival, especially short films, because that's kind of where they tend to go.
Yeah.
What is your goal as an actor, as a producer? What are you trying to get out of that experience?
Okay, I can hear Lori in this ear right now. So one of the, it's a short film. It's a short film. It's something that we're extremely proud of. It's also a calling card for other projects. And Laurie actually has a full-length script that she wrote, and that's probably going to be our next focus. I think making connections. So a couple nights ago, we had the sort of meet and greet where it was like speed dating, but it was speed networking. And you got to meet with several different people who are here at the festival, also filmmakers, a lot of local filmmakers. And I made some connections there that I'm really excited about. I had somebody, Dallin West, I think.
Yep.
Is that right? He connected with me last night on social media. I also met Elizabeth Ann. I'm not sure about her full name, but she's up in Austin.
Beth Ann.
Yeah, Beth Ann. Yeah. So I'm just excited about those connections. And, the feature, we're not sure if we're going to shoot it in Texas or if we're going to shoot it in Utah.
You see what makes sense.
And I think this collaboration with Laurie going forward will probably bounce back and forth between the states. And it depends on, obviously, funding and where the resources are and where we can do it. Yeah, just where it makes sense.
Yeah.
Financially and sort of like resource-wise. So making those connections at the festivals, I think, is what's important to me.
I love that, because even tonight, being Thursday,
yeah,
we have what's called the casting directors, or the secrets behind cast, or something like that. Casting Secrets Exposed, I think is what it's called. It's a panel, but right afterwards is the talent rep meet and greet.
Yeah.
When we did this last year, we had like hundreds of actors show up, and it's an open invitation, it's a free event for all the actors to come to and meet with casting directors, meet with producers, meet with directors, meet with other actors. And that's really who we're highlighting, is the acting community
here
in Utah. So
right.
So now you're going to be able to cast that in film right there in one party.
Yeah. Exactly. Just the connections. I mean, what's interesting to me is I've been acting for, how old am I? Don't tell anyone.
For 1.5 years.
Yes, I've been acting for 30 years. Yeah.
How did you act when you were still in utero?
Right? That's tough. It's tough.
really
I was,
tricky.
I was doing Shakespeare in the womb.
I was like doing ultrasound Hamlet. That is so creepy. Don't do ultrasound Hamlet.
I turned 50 this year.
No.
And so I've been doing this for over 30 years. I haven't thought about that. I keep saying like over 20 years, but it's been over 30 years that I've been
that's
acting.
amazing.
So yeah, that I look so young. Thank you.
I was going to finish saying with that. I was like, babe mode.
The thing with Laurie and I we've been doing all this stuff for decades. It's not, you hear about people who like, when a movie or something hits, it's like they're an overnight success. No, they've been doing it for a long time. It's just, this is the thing that stuck. And I think for her, she's been in the business forever. She's been writing forever. She's been directing forever. She and Jamie have been doing special effects forever. She did special effects for Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. She did the rain in The Notebook. So the scene where the big iconic scene in The Notebook, there was no rain that day.
Tell me what you want.
Laurie added that rain in post. So this is, we've all been, everybody involved, we've all been involved in the industry in one way or another. I'm primarily a theater actress, and I've been acting, for 30 years. So like, this didn't come out of nowhere. You know what I mean? We're professionals at what we do. And now we're finally past the point where we feel we have something to prove to anyone. Or like, I was in LA, I was in New York for a while, trying to make it and trying to break through and trying to get on somebody else's project that would make my career or whatever. But now it's just about making what we want to make and putting it out there and just see what happens.
Yeah.
And hopefully get the funding and the support and the people that we need to make the next production.
With Wildcat as a calling card, I don't think you're that far away from that goal.
Thank you.
I think it's
Thank you.
a solid piece. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, you can see it on EOFlix. And where else?
Is it on EOFlix?
I don't know. Is it on the EOFlix?
We said we wanted it on EOFlix, but I don't know that it got on there.
Well, there's the
talk to Dora.
We should talk to Dora. Dora's in charge. Dora knows everything with the festival. I would just assume it's on EOFlix.
Yeah.
And then so you can take a look there. Where else can we see this film outside of the Utah Film Festival?
Well, so we're going to be at the Austin International Film Festival, and we've been nominated for we've been nominated for Best Texas Original Script, I believe. Laurie's been nominated for Best Director. Both Adam and I have been nominated for Best Actor. Shockingly, we didn't get Best Special Effects, but I also wonder that everything just looks so natural that there's no spaceships and,
Right. They probably didn't notice it because it looks so good.
It just looks real.
What a compliment.
But we joke about the fact that, we blew up an oil derrick, At some point I walk into the fire and, I did that,
these are kind of like a compliment at that point.
Yeah.
Effects are so
I
good.
think it just doesn't come off as special effects because it's just
Star Wars.
natural. Yeah.
So where can people find Wildcat outside the Utah Film Festival?
Okay, so it has been accepted into Austin Revolution. We've been nominated for a bunch of awards there. So we're really excited about that one. And Beaumont, Texas as well. We'd eventually like to put it out somehow on I don't know if it's on a platform or if we just, we want all our investors to be able to see it, but we also want to sort of just shop it around to all the festivals possible before we start putting it out there ourselves. So I'm not sure what that progression is. And, Laurie and I kind of have to talk about that, but we'd like to be able to make it more available to people, but it's important to us to kind of keep it close to the vest until we've finished our festival circuit.
Makes sense to me. Guys, this is what we love about film festivals. You come out here and you get to meet the filmmakers and talk to them face to face and kind of take that journey with them. And if you want to keep on taking that journey with the filmmakers, keep on watching here on YouTube or come on down to the Utah Film Festival. And we got more filmmakers coming up.